Hello, guys and gals, and I think this is Vlog Friday, episode 36. I've got the information here somewhere underneath this whole stack of papers. 36. Okay, that doesn't look much like a 3, but I'm pretty sure that is a 3. It's more like a 1. I didn't make the 3's very pronounced. Anyways, so yeah, this is episode 36 of the Vlog, and we're going to go over the same points. So, but yeah. Let me scoot this forward. Anyways, we're going to talk a little bit about the hot weather outside. Well, it's hot here anyways. I know it's probably cold where some people are. Heat never really bothered me. It's basically cold that has the most effect on me. But it is possible to still overheat. And so let's talk about some safety concerns to do with the heat, especially if the climate is extra hot where you are. It's pretty easy to adjust to the heat, I would say, if you're exposed to it quite a bit. And if you're not used to it, then it's easy to overheat and collapse from exhaustion. And that's basically why at furry conventions there's water coolers everywhere. And I have been to furry conventions where people have actually fainted before because it gets really hot inside their suits, and they don't drink enough water. Anyways, but it's always good to take care of yourself, especially in terms of heat. It's easy to get heat stroke, which is very, very dangerous and can cause brain damage and stuff like that. Usually my brain is pretty fried anyways, and I don't want to risk, further brain damage by overheating. But anyways, so yeah. I don't do it, but you should probably wear sunscreen if you have sensitive skin. I know back when I was taking tetracycline for acne, I'd sunburn really bad. There were times when I just would get fried. But yeah. So that's one thing that you should always do, especially if you're on photosensitive medication like tetracyclines. You should always check your medication, make sure you're not extra photosensitive to sunlight. I know that I would get sunburned really bad whenever I took it because I would forget, and stuff like that. I'd peel real bad, Since I'm off the medication now, I don't really get sunburn very often. I do get a nice tan during the summer. And so, yeah. Another thing you need to be sure to do is to stay hydrated, as I said before, because it is easy to dehydrate, which is deadly too. You don't want to dehydrate because you end up losing a lot of your moisture, a lot of your fluids through your skin. One of the good things about sweat is that you don't have to pee as much because you're sweating all that out, which sounds really gross because you're sweating your pee out, which is kind of like you. But I think I'm right. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. But I just know that, if you sweat a lot, then you don't really have to pee very often. And if it's me, then I usually have to pee all the time, and I don't know. Probably my bladder is extra small or something, but I don't know. Anyways, but yeah, so you really want to keep in mind your fluid levels and make sure that you always have something to drink. You'll want to drink water because or I would say Gatorade, because it restores the electrolytes that you sweat out. Let's see. What else is there to talk about? Always stay outside in moderation. You don't want to overdo it. Overexerting is pretty much would cause you to sweat more and maybe dehydrate faster. And you just really need to be conscious of that. I don't know of any other safety tips when dealing with outside stuff because usually I walk once a day and basically I'm not out very often, and then I usually cool off. So yeah. Anyways, it's easy to get depressed even during warm months when most people are joyful. It's still possible to be depressed, and one way to handle the depression is to do something you enjoy at least once a day. Make sure it's something legal, and you also want to make sure that it's within your dietary wheelhouse. You don't want to do something that would hurt you physically. If you're a diabetic, you shouldn't be eating lots of sugar, and if you've got celiac disease, you shouldn't be eating gluten because that's kind of deadly. So yeah, you just want to make sure that what you choose to do to enjoy yourself isn't isn't deadly. It's safe. Anyways, but yeah, that's good for the symptoms of depression. It isn't going to help with the core problem of it because it can also be a chemical imbalance and stuff like that. But it does help with the symptoms. Number two is there's always someone who cares, and that can be easy to forget, especially since society can be impersonal these days. There's like the big social platforms where you can have millions of followers and you can still feel alone. Um, it's even possible to feel alone even in a crowded room. And so society tends to alienate people, and it's easy to feel alone and like nobody cares. And that's really sad because there's always at least one person who cares, and you should remember that. Um, it's easy to also get depressed because you feel that nobody cares, and so knowing someone cares can really make all of the difference. Number three is if you are suffering from an affliction, there is no shame in seeking help. And this day and age, there's a little bit less of a stigma attached to mental illness. Back in the Middle Ages, there was like exorcisms and stuff because people didn't really know any better. When it was stuff that nobody really had any control over. But scary times, really. I'm glad that we're far more sophisticated than that these days. But that there's less of a stigma now because people realize that if you have a mental illness, then you really don't have any control over that. And there are some mental illnesses that you really need medication for, like paranoid schizophrenia, bipolar, used to be called manic depression. But there's quite a few mental conditions that you actually need medication in order to cope, and that's perfectly fine. Also, it's okay to treat, illnesses with over-the-counter stuff. I'm not advocating anything illegal, just that if it's sold over-the-counter, then it's recommended pretty much safe. Also, if you are self-medicating, make sure that you're doing the right dosage, because that can lead to symptoms in itself, side effects. That's what I meant, side effects. But yeah, also yeah, and I realize that for depression and other stuff, it is possible to treat it, without the medication. And I admire people that can do that, but I know there's quite a few people that can't cope without the medication, and there's no shame in that. Number four is no matter how bad things get, there is always hope. It's always good to hold on to all that positive thinking, and to always hold on to that little grain of hope. No matter how bad things get, there's always that little grain of hope that that things will be all right. And things can still seem impossible, and hope can seem impossible, but there's always room for hope. It isn't easy sometimes, but you should always hold on to hope. It has lots of beneficial benefits, actually. Number five is societal tags and labels are pointless. People are people. I do realize that it is Gay Pride Month. So there's probably going to be a lot of those societal tags and labels getting thrown around. I personally don't really care for those. I feel that societal tags and labels basically subjugate people. They put them in a box they don't really belong in. It causes people to rush to judgment. And overall, they're detrimental or harmful. There are some people that embrace the tags. I know in the furry fandom, there are fur fags, and they love that title, and that's fine. But I just don't really care for tags, basically because it just doesn't seem to be fair to tag someone like that and basically give them a label, especially when you don't know them. We'll talk more about that. Oh yeah, well I guess we'll talk about it here because it says people are people, which is true. That's something else that needs to be addressed with the societal tag. Sometimes we can label somebody and then we can forget that they're human, and sometimes that's a little bit too easy to do. Anyways, so yeah, people are people. It doesn't matter what color their skin is, what their religious beliefs is, what their sexual orientation is, especially since this is Pride Month. And so yeah, you shouldn't judge people at all, actually, but but you should never judge somebody for something that is superficial or something that they have no control over. Anyways, number 6 is be yourself. There will never be another you, and the individuality is very, very important. I always say that the people who are most popular on YouTube basically are themselves. They might temporarily tap into the latest trends, but people see that they are themselves, and they get really famous for it. I mean, you can imitate them, but you should always be yourself because everyone is unique and you have a unique viewpoint, and it's really important that you be yourself. Your friends will love you just the same. And number 7 is always think positive thoughts. The power of positive thinking is very, very powerful. They've done study after study about positive thinking, and it has been shown to increase life, and to help with depression, to basically basically shown to be only positive, to only do positive things, to have a positive attitude. Negativity can actually be very toxic to a person, but positivity can be very curing. So yeah, the next time you're feeling down, think positive thoughts and not sarcastically positive, like I'm positive this is going to be a bad day. We want pure positivity. And so yeah. Anyways, I kind of rushed through these, but I hope this was at least a little bit helpful to somebody. And if it was helpful to you, then make sure that you like and subscribe and ring the bell so you know when I upload. I just do these videos for fun and basically because I'm trying to help. And of course, this is all my opinions, and you can either take my opinions or leave them. Either way is fine. But yeah, if you want to support me in any way, or if you want to join the Discord server, then all that information will be in the description below. As always, thanks for watching, everyone, and have a great day.